what else can you say about Justin Fields? But if you guys can possibly, because you've been watching Ohio State football for as long as I have, just my goodness, you guys pointed out the one pass that wasn't perfect. He threw 21 passes, and my goodness, just everyone was there and looked beautiful. Like you see really good quarterbacks out there in college and on Sundays that don't throw the best ball. They're really good at what they do, and it's on time and it's on the money. But man, it even looks good. Like everything he does just looks good. He looks the part. Like this guy is more than fulfilling what everybody expected.
Just go watch a random JT Barrett game and see the difference in the passing game. It's like the 2016 Michigan game where because you expect now, and with Dwayne Haskins as well, you expect every single pass to be pretty much on target. And you could see, you go back and watch some of these JT Barrett games where it's the easiest pass and it's skipping to the receiver, and it's and he was the best of all time until the guys after him.
Hey, what about the 2017 Penn State game, fourth quarter? That was one of the best quarters of passing that I'd seen, and that was the outlier. Now that's the expectation.
3 years ago today, that game. Tonight.
Do you know Ohio State's passing offense, and this goes back to Pryor, Braxton Miller, Barrett, it was always station to station. They would throw a forward pass, and it was usually a receiver crouching down near the ground, catching it in one spot. And if they're able to then turn and pivot and get 5 or 6 yards after the catch, you thought, oh my God, what a great play that was, that type of thing. And those guys had the mobility to keep plays alive. And okay, first guy's covered, second guy's covered, I'll roll out. Third guy, dump it off, get it to him over the middle, whatever it is, move the chains. They were efficient in that regard, but it was not what you'd say an NFL passing attack needs to look like. Fields is hitting guys in stride, boom, 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 boom. And I mean, I'm not saying the receivers don't bail him out time and again, because there are a few of those, including the touchdown to the freshman Jackson Smith-Njigba, where he reached out of bounds, like 2 feet, 3 feet out of bounds, leaning out of bounds, and somehow still got his right foot down in bounds, is one of the most awe-inspiring plays I can recall. Physics-defying, I think, almost, where your body is leaned one way and you somehow are able to still get your foot down in bounds, was just stunning. But 92%. Or 90, I don't know what it was, 93%, 95% completion percentage for him in the first game. I was told there'd be no math.
You brought it up.
Yeah, that's
95.2 to be exact.
Yeah, that's just uncanny. And again, he's looking at a season where he's probably going to complete 70% maybe or more. There's going to be some down games, I assume, at some point, particularly when they play into December outside and it's, blowing and snowing and whatever. But you just get the sense that if Ohio State, needs to pick up a 5-yard first down or whatever, they're going to do it. And they can do it in an array of different ways, and really didn't even involve the tight ends all that much in this game. And that's uncharted territory that they can still get to.
I'm dating myself to a certain extent, but I didn't even watch this game live. So I'm not quite this old, but I watched so many old NFL playoff games, and this was in the Super Bowl, that I instantly, when he made that play in the back of the end zone, I thought of the play where, again, it's not physically like this, but it appears like this. Like when Dr. J made that scoop under the basket, where it looks like, how in the world do you travel from one side of the lane to the other out of bounds? Lynn Swann in the Super Bowl against the Steelers, or against the Cowboys, looked like he was, like his entire body was over the white of the sideline, but he somehow landed in bounds with 2 feet. Garrett Wilson, now we knew how good he was, but it looked like they intentionally came out, unless he was just beating his coverage this well coming out of the gate. It looked like that they were intentionally wanting to get the ball in his hands, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, that's the focal point of the passing game, is that slot guy, and that's why, shoot, in 2018, the two slot guys combined for 160 receptions in Paris Campbell and KJ Hill. So that tells you the kind of attention that gets. And his 7 receptions, and then Jackson Smith, his backup, he had a catch in there as well. 2 catches, targeted another time where he was then targeted by the Nebraska defense. And so, yeah, that's like the focal point of the offense. That's why when Kevin Wilson talked back in the spring or whatever about the 130 receptions that they got Ryan Broyles out of the slot, and how there's a reason they put Garrett Wilson in there. It's because they want to get him the ball as much as possible, and it gives them favorable matchups, and he can do more after the catch. He's more explosive than KJ Hill. KJ Hill is more of the station to station that Steve is talking about. Garrett Wilson is a guy who can play any position and make any catch from any angle. And then if he comes down with the ball in bounds, can make you miss and then run by you. And so that he's almost like the perfect weapon in there. And the backup, Jackson Smith and Jigba, is another version of him, of Garrett Wilson. And he's just a freshman, and he's going to be very, very good. I wouldn't be surprised if Smith and Jigba leaves as the all-time leading receiver in Ohio State history. Now, the only problem is he's going to have to do it in 3 years as opposed to the 4 years that KJ Hill had. But the guys they've got on the inside, they're difference makers, and we won't see Mookie Cooper necessarily until next year. He's another guy that they love. And yeah, just there's no limit to what Garrett Wilson can do this year. The only limit is that there's only 11 games maximum, basically. Or else, I think I was saying before there was a pandemic, he could be looking at 100 catches this year, just because of how much they can focus the ball to the inside guys. And he's, if they would have played 3 games before this one, he might already have already have 30 catches this season with the 7 that he got against Nebraska. And it's unfortunate that he can't realize his full potential this season, but man, he is really, really, really good. And he's got some guys behind him too.
Yeah, I look at the receivers that they have right now, and it's hard to compare them to previous classes without it sounding like you're disparaging guys. But, there would be times that Ben Victor would be out there running free, and for some strange reason would jump up and have the ball bounce off his hands and then his helmet and then his chest and then off his hands again and then fall sadly to the earth. Yeah.
And you were just hoping his leg didn't snap. Especially his first year.
He was like a baby deer out there taking his first steps, Gav.
Talking to him in high school, and I was just like, God, he's so slight. And then it's like, well, you get him on a nutritional plan and everything else, and he'll bulk up. That never happened. But, you got to, if you're Justin Fields or, any quarterback in the Ohio State system now with the receivers that they've got, you've got to feel a tremendous amount of success, because your catch radius is not right there. The catch radius is just so much larger now at this point. These guys have such great ball skills. They can react so well to the ball and everything else, and it makes you look better. And then, it's like that baseball player that's, hitting everything. It looks like a beach ball coming into them. So, it's just one thing feeds off of another. And, Garrett Wilson, just for, the skill set that he brings, there are still people I know in Central Texas that are pissed off that he escaped Texas's reach and that he's at Ohio State. I mean, I think he really has the potential of being special. And, we've all talked about Chris Olave this and Chris Olave that. And, I'm not selling one bit on CO2, but Garrett Wilson really could prove to be the freak of this, of the 2020 season.